Hi guys, welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. If you have, hello again. My name is Keely Brooke and I post content about my health and endometriosis and like living with this condition and just like regular life stuff. So yeah, I also post about my small business that I am starting very soon, and I'm hoping that this business will be the key to kind of help a lot of women with endometriosis and with chronic illness, because I know there's definitely a community out there. That is launching soon. Stay tuned, and maybe at the end of this video we'll like give a little sneak peek on what's coming. Today we are going to be talking and going through just the whole like Mirena, which is the IUD, and the Nexplanon, which is the arm implant. We're going to be going through that whole experience because I've had last 6 months with this rod implant and it has not been going so well. So I'm actually getting a procedure done very soon to get this out and get a Mirena IUD in. So we're going to go through all of that and talk about that, and also talk about this condition that I live with called endometriosis. We're just gonna go through it all because you're here, you click this video, so you also want to know. So let's talk about it. Starting with endometriosis, I'm gonna pull up the definition because I don't want to speak in the wrong way or say it wrong, because it's very important. And a lot of the times online this like definition of endometriosis is wrong. Endometriosis is a whole body disease where tissue similar to the uterus grows elsewhere. Endo can be found in the pelvis, ovaries, kidneys, diaphragm, fallopian tubes, bladder, bowels, and even the brain. It can cause chronic pain, inflammation, bloating, which is also called endobelly, heavy periods, scar tissue, and also sometimes infertility. Diagnosis is generally only possible via a keyhole surgery. So I've had 3 in my couple years having endometriosis and being diagnosed with endometriosis, and obviously it grows back. So at the moment there's no cure, and they say about 1 in 10 women have it. I've heard the numbers being like 1 in 9, 1 in 7, like it changes all the time as more and more women get diagnosed with endometriosis, but it's generally, they say 1 in 10, and it's pretty common, like 1 in 10, also listed as one of the top 20 most painful conditions, and that's by the NHS. It is quite a painful and disabling condition, and yet there's no cure. It's not really like talked about in schools. It's not really talked about in like when like doctors are learning how to become a doctor. They don't have a long extensive study on it. It's usually like if you're a specialist or a gynecologist, you might do like more research or more study on it, but it's not well known in those circles, and that's where women who have endometriosis go to for help, and we can't even get help through that. It's quite a significant disease and it affects a lot of people differently. Like not everyone has the same symptoms and not everyone has the same like progression of the disease. Like you have like the stages, and usually the stage that you have doesn't even correlate with the amount of symptoms you're experiencing. So you can have someone with stage 4 endometriosis and not even like really feel any symptoms or anything, but they could be having trouble getting pregnant or things like that, and that's how they find out. Or you can also have like people who have very minimal disease, like stage 1, stage 2, like it's not as much as going on in there, but they have like full-on symptoms and it's like awful and disabling, and it's like very weird and very random. They also say it's like probably genetic. My family, my mom and my grandma both had endo, and so adeno, pretty common in families to go down the generation. And unfortunately I have endometriosis and adenomyosis. It has significantly impacted my life in the way that the last 13 years of my life I've spent pretty much bedbound sometimes, and I've had like lots of chronic pain, lots of chronic bleeding, and really bad periods, really bad pain other times in the month. Just really struggled with living my life as a young person because of this disease. I've had 3 surgeries. I've had lots of iron infusions because I've lost a lot of blood. So medication tries and treatments. I did actually try the Nexplanon rod a couple years ago when I was kind of working out my next stages after trying a lot of things, and it actually didn't go so well for me, and it went really deep into my arm after like a week of getting it in. And so they actually, like, I went to the hospital because it was like I was hurting, it was painful. They're like, oh, we can't find it. And so then they were like digging into my arm. Eventually it was like really deep into my arm, and they pulled it out and they found it, which was great because it was out and it was no longer hurting my arm. But I have quite a scar there already, and so I kind of tried it, but I didn't really try like the hormone, like the medication part. So that's why I decided to try it again. So this is future editing me. I just realized that I never actually shared what the Nexplanon or Mirena is. So I'm just gonna quickly share. So the Nexplanon is a rod implant. It's like yay big. It's not massive, but it's like this thin little rod strip thing. And what they use is they use this tool and they like it into your arm. Obviously they numb it with local anesthetic first, but that's what they did. But it is like a contraceptive, birth control. So usually they use it for women who don't want to get pregnant. Most of these contraceptives they also use on women who have women's health conditions to help treat it because they need to stop their periods, and that's what happens. This stops the period, and the mission behind it is to stop the period, which means stop the endo growth or whatever. And it's kind of a band-aid, these birth control treatments. It's what you have to do to manage your condition and survive a lot of the time, and not every woman uses birth control if they have a condition, but some of us do and some of us have to. So that's the Nexplanon. It also, I discovered, it releases the hormone through your bloodstream, so that's how it like can possibly create a whole lot of side effects in women, because obviously not a lot of women have a great experience with the Nexplanon, the rod, me being one of them. That is what it is. Now the Mirena is a like T-shaped rod looking thing, and that goes into your uterus and it just kind of sits in your uterus. You can actually like feel the strings because the strings hang, so you can actually feel for them to see if it's in the right place and all of that. You can't like feel it, like it's not like something you can like feel or like feel like it's you're sitting on, or like anything weird like that. But it releases hormones just localized in the uterus, so it's a lot better for those who don't want to have a whole lot of hormones going all over their body and all through their body. And the Nexplanon has a 3-year like lifespan, so you can only have it for 3 years, whereas the Mirena is 5 years when I got it, but I think they've increased it to like 7 years now, so you can actually have it in for longer. It's supposed to stop your periods or make them really light, hopefully, you know, stop you from getting pregnant. Obviously it's also used to stop your periods to help treat, you know, conditions that you might have, or heavy periods that you might have, or things like that. So that's what that is, and that's what they both are, and I hope that helps like a little bit, because I realized I never actually described what they were, so you're probably like, what is this? Because I had no idea until I got the pamphlets from the doctor. I had no idea. Anyway, sorry, back to the video, back to past me. Thank you. Going back, I had the Mirena IUD, and it was put in my last operation, which was about 2019. They put it in and I had like 6 months to a year of just the worst symptoms, and my periods were not good, and the pain was so severe and awful. Literally I just kept going like, I want to get this out, I want to get this out, like this is ruining my life and it's just disabling me even more so. But I stuck with it and I suffered through and I trudged through the pain. It ended up working out for me because at some point in 2020 it started actually like working, and my periods kind of stopped. They just got like lighter. It just helped my life significantly. Like even my family were like, you're so much like better, like you look a lot better, and like you're able to do a lot more and like get out a lot more. That was a couple years, and then right up to like the 5-year point, because it has like a shelf life of like 5 years and then you kind of got to get it out. I think they've increased that now to like 7 or 8 years. I was having my endo symptoms coming back strong with vengeance, and so I decided to try something else out, because the Mirena was great, but it's also, you know, pretty invasive because, you know, it's up there and it's not fun to get in or out. And so I kind of wanted to try something different that I thought maybe could help me more, so that wasn't as like scary to like get in and out. I had a meeting with my doctor and we decided to do the arm implant again and try it out. So we did, and it was really easy. Like, they got the Mirena out. No, that wasn't fun. That was definitely painful. Obviously they do it with like no pain meds or anything, so you're just kind of there and they like yank it out. But I read about it online and I was kind of expecting the worst, so maybe it was a little bit better because I was expecting the worst. It was still pretty painful. And then they put the rod in, so they put local anesthetic on your arm, which is great because you can't feel anything like pain wise. You just might feel a bit of like tugging, but that doesn't hurt. Wrapped it up and I was all good to go until my arm literally swelled up. I had really big bruises on my arm, if you've seen the video, and it hurt a lot for a lot longer than what the recommended time of recovery was. So I was like really nervous during like the first week and a bit because I was scared that it went back deep into my arm. My doctor felt it and she's like, no, I think it's good. I think we're fine. Everything was like, okay, now I just got to recover, and my arm did recover and I got used to having this foreign object in my body. So that was all great, and that was fine. And I was actually happy that it was like here and not like there. It was a good experience with that. The first couple months of having this Nexplanon arm implant was pretty nightmarish. My mental health literally dove and came crashing down. It got to the point where my doctor was prescribing me like antidepressants. It got really severely low and I was just really upset and depressed and all the time couldn't like see a way out. And it was only like when my period, like before my period, and obviously like there's another condition that I also have called PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. They say worse version than PMS, but it's quite full on. You experience PMS at a really intense and significant way, and a lot of women also just really struggle with, you know, wanting to be here, like on this earth. I was in that place. That was difficult. It's like the physical symptoms are one thing, but then you have the mental symptoms, and that's like a whole nother thing. I could deal with the physical symptoms, but the mental stuff, it was like, I can't deal with this. So I was really considering like, should I just be trudging through, because my doctor was saying like usually it takes 6 months and then it's like okay, and then it's working, or at least like a couple months and you should be okay. And so I was like, okay, like I just decided to hold out. But it got to literally, let me pull up my app, let me pull up my receipts. It's also really helpful having a period tracker app, because I've been able to track all my symptoms and bleedings, and it's a mess at the moment, my app, but you know what, it's okay. Literally November, December and January I have been bleeding non-stop, and it kind of started end of October, but we'll just say November. Literally we are just bleeding non-stop. So I was experiencing extreme, like I was having a period every single day. It was heavy and it was painful, and it was affecting my life in such a big way where I couldn't do anything. Literally I was just like stuck in bed with my heat pack, also giving myself a heat pack burn. Super fun. I was just really feeling really low mentally, but then also physically I was just not doing well, and that's like been like that for months and months, and it just wasn't getting better. I'd have like a day where I didn't have my period, and then the next day I would get my period again. So it was like this constant bleeding. I'm like, when is my period coming? But it's like I don't even know if this is my period, if this is the arm. Like, nightmare. I decided that it was time to get it out. It wasn't easy, because when you've been like going through a treatment for so long, and like you've been really trying the treatment for so long, like this has been like 6 months, when you get to the point of like, okay, I need to try something else, I need to change it, it's really disheartening and discouraging to be like, okay, now we've got to try another thing. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I have to try a new thing again, and you know, wait that maybe 6 month to a year period to like feel back to like normal. And I feel like a lot of people with chronic illness or endometriosis or like PCOS or anything like that, adenomyosis, they go through a whole lot of treatments, and you just have to keep trialing them, and eventually like one will be good, but you also have to get through the trial period. And so, you know, that takes a bit of time as well. And that was me. And that's me at the moment. I've been through that last 13 years of my life, and it's no different. So we're doing it again. Yay! Yay! The plan is at the moment, I don't know if I'm calling myself a wuss because I'm not just going to my doctor's office and getting my Mirena put in and getting this taken out. My doctor said it was possible, but I'm actually getting put under, gonna have some procedures coming up, and they're actually going to be putting the Mirena in and also taking my arm implant out while I'm put under, while I am asleep. Praise the Lord, PTL. I am so happy I'm just gonna be put out, so I am not gonna see any of this or feel it or anything. And I know a lot of women just have to suffer through that, so I do want to be mindful that not all women get to be put to sleep. So I am really thankful and so thankful that I don't have to go through that. Obviously I could easily get my arm taken, I could easily get my arm implant taken out, like that's fine, like I could deal with that. It's just the Mirena getting put in. I don't tolerate internals or anything like that at all. And so I think because of the adenomyosis and endometriosis and like fibroids and things like that, it makes it really painful for me. So to like a really severe level, I think this is going to be the best option for me. I'm also like, I'm nervous obviously because like it's a procedure and I'm getting anesthetic and I'm gonna have to be put under, and then I'm gonna have to recover from this and this at the same time. And I'm expecting it to be like a little painful everywhere, but I'm just trying it, and I'm gonna hopefully see some results and some good news with it. And I hope that it just like, I continue to get better, even if it takes like 6 months to a year to feel like the effects of the Mirena, like it's working. That is where I'm at right now. And so I am really hopeful and praying that this works for my condition and give me some life back, because obviously I am a young adult and I'm pretty young still, and I want to live my life and get out and, you know, go to church and meet people and, you know, just feel like a young person, not feel like I'm like 80 years old and can't move. I'm really hoping that this procedures actually and this treatment works well for me. I know I've heard that, you know, Mirenas can be different each time, and maybe one time it work but maybe the next time it won't. And you know, there's also the risk of Mirenas, you know, expelling itself, or you know, perforating, I don't know how to say the word, perforating something, the uterus, so it like can do all sorts of things. And there's definitely horror stories there with women, so I am nervous about having to go through that anxiety again. I think ultimately this is probably going to be the best decision for me, and a lot of women have told me that as I've been sharing my story, that the Mirena really worked out for them. I'm hoping it works out for me too, again, the second time round. And yeah, I'm hoping this fixes my chronic bleeding at the moment as well. And yes, I know I also have to get my iron checked because I have been very dizzy and very no energy. We've got to do all the tests and get that all working. That is a little bit of my story and a little bit of my experience with the Nexplanon, the rod, the Mirena. Obviously I have a video that is either coming out or it's already here, so take a look at my channel to see. I have a video that's coming that's about my experience looking at it in like real time and kind of going through the emotions, and like I filmed a lot of content from when I did do the Nexplanon and like over the last few months, so please watch that. And I hope that helps you kind of get a gauge of like maybe where you want to go or what you want to do. Obviously every person is different, and what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. So it sucks, but it's also a lot of like trial and error. That can suck. I completely understand the sucky part of the trial and error, but you know, I really hope and I pray that you find something that works for you and your body and gives you some relief if you're also suffering through chronic illness or endometriosis as well, or anything like that. I hope you at least find some comfort that there's other people in the world like me, an Australian in Canada right now, that is going through maybe what you're going through, and you know, struggling, but you know, still living life and getting through it. I hope that encourages you, maybe helps you a little in some tiny way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it really helped you in some way, but it was just a little chat time, not super like, there's not a lot of stuff happening. It's just a little chat time with me, and I hope it helped in some way. If you like this video, please like it down below and comment your experience if you have one on any of this, like the Mirena, the Nexplanon. Like, give your story. I would love to know your story, so please share it down below and subscribe as well for more, because I'm always talking about this. We're just being real here and talking about chronic illness and endometriosis and being a young person and living with all this. So please subscribe for more, because let me tell you, there is some special business stuff coming up soon that you'll definitely want to know and be aware of. Get on that. Also follow my Instagram, KillyBrook & Co. All my socials are the same because it's just the name I put. Have my that's my business, so that's where I talk about all like my business stuff and, you know, what's going on there and when it's launching, and like certain giveaways that also might be coming soon. So please go over there and follow and share the support, because it means the world to me. So before I go, I also do want to mention I am currently writing a book about chronic illness and endometriosis. I know I shared this a little bit at some point. It is happening and I'm planning to launch it on March, which is Endometriosis Awareness Month, which is perfect timing, I feel. And this book is for everyone. It's not just for like women with endo, like it could be for your loved ones, it can be for like young girls who have bad periods, or they're just having symptoms and they don't know what's going on. This book is the book that I wish I had when I was a teenager, going through all of this and not having any idea about endometriosis. And I had a friend who told me about endometriosis, which is, she's one of the reasons why I was actually diagnosed in the first place. I wrote this book to be that person to someone else. It is coming soon and I am so excited, and I think it will help in some way, because it's not just like a doctor manual. It's, you know, advice from over 13 years of experience living with this, you know, as a young person. That is coming soon. Make sure you head to my Instagram to keep up to date on that. And yeah, I don't want you to miss out on the giveaways. Like that's super fun. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week and that you feel good and rested and happy. Bye. You're a star. Chewy, you want to be a star? I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be.